Hello, and you're watching the History Fellow channel, here with another book review, and the book I'm going to review is North Africa, 1941. That's from Casemate Illustrated, and it's written by Philip Jowett. It's kind of a paperback, and it's priced at £24.95. And I'd like to thank Daniela Lipscomb for allowing me to read and review this book. So, North Africa, 1941. The North African campaign of the Second World War is often remembered through a romanticised lens. The war without hate. A chivalrous duel between the Desert Fox, Erwin Rommel, and Spartan General, Bernard Montgomery. However, in his book North Africa 1942, historian Philip Jowett strips away the sepia-toned myths to provide a gritty, visually immersive, and a comprehensive look at the year the tide finally turned. Now, part of the Casemate Illustrated series, Jowett's work functions as both a tactical premiere or primer and a high-level strategic overview. For those that think they know everything about the Seesaw War, Jowett offers a refreshing focus on the sheer logistical nightmare and the multicultural reality of the forces involved. The year 1942 was the pivot point for the entire Mediterranean theatre. It began with the Axis forces at the gates of Egypt and ended with the Allies firmly in control of the initiative following Operation Torch. Jowett expertly carves the year into three distinct movements. Number one, the Axis ascendant, the fall of Tobruk and the dash to El Alamein. 2, the British rebirth, the reorganisation of the 8th Army and the decisive Second Battle of El Alamein. And number 3, the American arrival, the landings in Morocco and Algeria, which signalled the beginning of the end for the Panzer Army Africa. Jowett's narrative doesn't just focus on the great men. While Rommel and Montgomery get their due, the book shines when it discusses the rank-and-file soldiers, the desert rats, the French, or the Free French at Hakim, and the Italian Ariete Division, who often fought with much better courage than their equipment deserved. Now, one cannot review a Philip Jowett book without mentioning his expertise in visual history. Jowett is widely recognised for his work on military uniforms and equipment, and he brings that eye for detail here. After all, a history of the Desert War without photographs is like a desert without sand. You miss the very texture of the conflict. The book is packed with rare photographs, many of which move away from the standard propaganda shots. We see the dust-caked faces of the New Zealanders, the improvised sun shields on the British tanks, and the weary retreat of the Italian infantry. These visuals serve a specific purpose. They remind the reader that 1942 was a war of attrition and endurance. Some of the key highlights are the uniform plates, tactical maps, and the weapon profiles. Jowett spends a significant portion of the book analysing the Second Battle of El Alamein. Rather than treating it as a foregone conclusion, he highlights the immense risks Montgomery took. The book clarifies that this wasn't just a victory of bravery, but a victory of logistics and intelligence. By 1942, the British Ultra, code-breaking, was intercepting Rommel's supply requests. Jowett illustrates how the sinking of the Mediterranean tankers was just as important as the artillery barrages at the front lines. If Rommel had no fuel, his brilliant tactical manoeuvres were merely expensive ways to stall. The final third of the book deals with Operation Torch. This is a crucial addition, as many North African histories tend to focus exclusively on the British Eighth Army. Jarrett provides an insightful look at the Green American troops who were about to receive a bloody nose at Catherine Pass. Though the bulk of that campaign falls into 1943, Jarrett sets the stage perfectly. He handles the political complexities of the Vichy French with nuance. It wasn't as simple as good guys versus bad guys scenario. It was a messy, fratricidal conflict that Jarrett navigates without losing the reader in the weeds of diplomacy. The strengths of this book are Jarrett's ability to humanise the conflict. He doesn't just say the line held, he describes the thirst, the flies and the Carmiston sandstorms that made life miserable for every man involved, regardless of the flag they fought under. On the other hand, the weaknesses, I thought, if you're looking for a 1,000-page academic tome with deep dives into the psychological state of high command, this is not going to be your choice. Jarrett writes for the reader who wants to see the war as much as read about it. My final opinion then. North Africa 1942 is a triumph of concise military history, as all these Casemate illustrated books are. Philip Jarrett has managed to condense one of the most complex years of the war into a narrative that is as engaging as a novel, but as informative as a textbook. It is a reminder that the desert was a cruel master. 1942 was the year the Allies learned how to tame that environment, and in doing so found the road to victory. Whether you're a modeller looking for uniformed references, a wargamer seeking tactical context, or a history buff wanting a clear account of Rommel's eclipse, this book is an essential addition to your shelf. Jarrett proves that while the Desert Fox was a master of the sprint, the Allies with their Sherman tanks and endless supply lines were the masters of the marathon. That's North Africa 1941 from the Casemate Illustrated section, written by Philip Jarrett, and I'd like to thank Daniela Lipscomb again for allowing me to read and review this book. Thank you very, very much for watching. If you've got any comments, please feel free to do so down below this video. Please give the video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you.